Ready, hot!
It's been 3 weeks since we talked to you. You've had 9 of the 15.
And I know it.
Oh, you missed us? You missed us?
No, that's why I was in such a good mood at Al's class.
Just update us a little bit on overall and maybe a few specific players. And
Yeah, I don't know. We're making some progress. We still, I think, got to improve in a lot of areas. Got to keep making strides. Let's see here. Some young guys. Trey McTwire's been a huge. Has made a really great impact with and I think the receivers are doing a really good job, and I think the O-line's playing a little bit better overall and consistently. Landry's always good. Defensively, those guys are doing a good job picking up on, where we left off with some of the things that we did a year ago, improving on them, just with discipline, with not having adjustment breakdowns or gap, making sure we're gap responsible and doing those kind of things. That's coming, with a few different wrinkles that Mike wants to add. So, it's like it always is in spring. For me, it's always good and bad because someone's doing a little better, someone's doing a little getting the best of somebody, and then a lot of times the next day it's just the opposite. The other group does a little better, so that's just kind of how it goes.
Could Trey make the same kind of freshman impact that Kenny did?
Absolutely. I believe he it's very realistic that he can do that.
I know nothing's going to surprise you having a guy like Ryan around here the last 4 years, but when you look at Trey's skill set, what is it that impresses you most about? I mean, we saw the one-handed catch. And
just that he's, just how competitive he is. He has the speed, the size, the maturity to be aggressive. He acts like an older player.
Is he maybe a guy that can do more things one-on-one down the field because he is bigger?
Well, yeah, sure.
Catch things in a crowd, I guess.
He can, yeah, hopefully.
How are your other 2 quarterbacks or 3 quarterbacks doing besides Landry?
They're doing well. It's kind of day to day, but they're primarily Drew and Blake are making the biggest jumps, and Kendall's coming along. But those guys are doing a good job, getting better all the time, and you get a little bit of everything in practice. They'll have their stretches where they're doing well, and then every now and then here comes a play that pops up that they got to learn from. So that's why you keep putting them out there.
is Blake playing a little tight end?
Oh, not really. No, he did early in the camp, just when those young tight ends or new guys were still figuring it out, but not really.
The monster that hurt his hometown, I believe, was hit with a tornado today. He mentioned everything was fine with his family.
Well, I don't know yet. Hopefully, when they get to communicate with everybody, that'll be the case. So we're thinking about everybody down there. Hopefully, we have a lot of kids really from the area, so hopefully everybody's okay.
How do you feel about the transition that Lane has made going from right to left? I know he was at left maybe originally last spring, so it's not a new thing for him completely. But
No, that's not a big deal, I don't think. I mean, to me, that move is just about some experience. And, he's kicking with one leg back instead of the other. He's pretty ambidextrous. I don't think it's going to hurt him, So I think it's been pretty relatively easy for him.
You mentioned Mike putting in a few wrinkles. The few times we've talked to him, it sounds like his number one priority is to make sure you have that safety net that was sometimes missing.
Well, we just need a little more discipline in some of the things we're doing. And so, no, I'm not going to expound on it. It says, because we're doing things just how we always have.
Well, this doesn't apply to you this year, but in the past, when you haven't had an established quarterback going into a season, you have not been all that quick to name one going into the summer necessarily. What's the pros and cons of naming a guy going into the summer or not naming a guy?
I'll be honest, because I could speak honestly, since that isn't our case, I don't think it's a big deal. Because they both need to continue to compete. They both have to, there's so much that can happen from now through the summer work and their training and how they work in the off season to even two-a-days. There is so much time that I don't know that it is. I don't know that the fact that they remain competitive isn't the best way. So in the end, I don't either way. I don't think it's a big deal because they're both going to continue to work, improve, and again, my feeling is there's so much that can happen from the end of spring ball till just think of the amount of time that's there before you take a snap, in a game. So I always felt like having our guys continue to remain very competitive was the best thing.
What about the leadership question? Letting everybody know whose job it is for summer work, organizing summer workouts, that kind of thing.
Well,
Is that both something they both can do?
Again, I think that's overrated, meaning what your Ryan Broyles can't do that, a big-time receiver can't orchestrate it, or the two of them can't say, hey, we're meeting at this time, or your team pride. What I need the quarterback to tell me I got to come in here and work hard. I don't mean to be not being facetious or sarcastic, but really I don't think that should matter is what I'm saying. You got 100 guys on the team or 105 or 85 on scholarship. They ought to all be pushing each other to get in here and work, and this is what time we're going to do scale. And so when we were here, heck, Jermaine Gresham could have grabbed everybody by the throat and made sure they were here, So there's always some other guys, I think, that are able to help the 2 or 3 guys that are competing for it do it.
Bob, you go all the way back to like Quentin Griffin, when you guys, the way you ran the ball, you've always wanted to be physical. You've said that. Is there something about watching the way that those guys performed in the Belldozer last year that makes you believe that this line can be more physical maybe than they were?
Yeah, I just think with improved experience, more experience, another year in the weight room, another year training and discipline and techniques, all of that, that they can be. And we'll see. We still have to be able to do it, but so we'll see if they can. We can continue to improve on that.
Don't you need a running back? I mean, you had Dominic was very physical before he went down, and Trey Millard's a physical guy, but you need running backs to be more physical in that equation too.
Well, sometimes that always helps. But I feel with the guys we have coming in and the guys we have returning, we should be able to do that.
Replacing a guy like Jamel Fleming seems to be a big key. He was such a good player for you the last 2 years. Has anybody stood out at corner through the first few weeks?
Well, Lamar's Harris continues to do a real good job, and he and Joe Powell continue to get the most action there. Are doing well with it. Julian Wilson has looked good. I've been happy. I think the safeties overall are doing a really good job. So there's always an opportunity possibly to put Aaron Colvin there as well, so that he's not going right now. But in time, I think Cos Everett also has done a really good job for the short time he's been here and shows promise.
Speaking of safeties, Javon had his ups and downs last year, but Mike said he's really having a good spring. Update us on how he's looking.
Yeah, he's doing a nice job. He's making good improvement and being in better position and making more plays. So hopefully that'll continue to happen.
Is Gabe Lynn a guy that's kind of found home at safety now?
He's been playing safety and nickel and has done well with it. So yeah, we've been very pleased with how he's coming along.
Bob, on Millard's role in the spring,
He's the slash. I was thinking that today. He's at tight end, at H-back, at tailback, at fullback. I don't know how he remembers it all, but he does. I mean, it's funny. You get even new guys in. Mike and even Tim Kish, they've made the statement on more than one occasion. He may be the best player on the team. So just a great athlete that can do so many things.
we're trying to steal him from.
I didn't mean to cut you off, but is
No,
that
that's
what you
I
were
wanted
looking
to know.
for?
I thought Israel might be expanding it. I don't know.
Yeah.
You've seen noticeable progress from Dominic Whaley since the start of spring?
Yeah. It's been very encouraging. He's, I don't know how to quantify it, but he continues to improve.
Bob, what did you know of the guy out in California that Landry went and saw over spring break? George Whitfield, I guess is his name. Quarterback guru, I guess is what he's called.
Didn't know anything.
Didn't know of him before he went out there?
I've heard of him, but don't know him.
Did you encourage that?
No, didn't know he did it.
Oh.
Well, he did.
Well, ask Landry about it. Hey, nothing wrong with that.
So if you had known about it, you'd have been fine with it?
Sure, why not? I think it's always good to get differing, any little pointer from anybody you can. You can assess it all you want, how much you use of it, and if you think I'm at all sensitive about our quarterback lineage here and how they've been schooled, I think you're mistaken. I think ours is maybe as good as there is in the country. So I'm not real insecure about what we've been doing.
Well, I mean, that's sort of the point, why it's interesting.
Well,
I mean,
again,
you
I
guys
don't.
have been great at developing quarterbacks. Seems strange for a guy in the middle of spring practice to say, I better fly to California and see what I can pick up.
Well, again, why not? I mean, heck, there's, I go to pro camps all the time, or I go to watch other teams practice once in a while, college ball, and you never know. You pick up one or two little extra things that help, and why not? You share it with someone else. You share it with Coach Heupel. I share whatever I see at some other practices, and sometimes you implement it, other times you don't. Other times you get there and, geez, I've been doing all these things as it is. So it never hurts to always be seeking information.
Is there ever a time when information techniques, whatever, clash?
Oh, I'm sure there can be. I didn't notice any clashing out there today, so he seems to be pretty good old Landry like he usually is.
Can you tell us anything about Chaz Nelson? We haven't heard.
Yeah, he's
about
doing a
him.
nice job. It's just hard for me to remember everybody, but he's making steady and good progress, and a guy that we really like, so he's doing well.